Today we are going to discuss about Unit 5th Ecology. The word ecology comes from the Greek oikos means home, logos means study. The word ecology coined by German biologist Ernst Haeckel. Ernst Haeckel also coined the term phylum, phylogeny and including ecology also. Ecology can be defined as is the branch of biology that deals with the study of interaction between living organism and its environment. Ecology is the branch of biology that deals with the study of interaction between organism and its environment. Then what do you mean by organism? Organism refer to living thing that has an organized structure, can react with the stimuli, reproduce, grow, adapt and maintain homeostasis. The organism refer to living thing that has an organized structure, can react with the stimuli, reproduce, grow, adapt and maintain homeostasis. Then what is an homeostasis? The process by which organisms maintain a constant internal environment with respect to changing external environment condition. The process by which the organism maintain constant internal environment with respect to changing external environment condition is called as an homeostasis. Then how we can define the environment? Environment means surrounding condition in which organism lives, that we call it as a environment. The interaction between organism and its environment we can explain by taking example. We maintain a constant body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. When outside temperature is high, we sweat profusely and evaporative cooling take place to bring body temperature down. We maintain a constant body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius during summer season or at high temperature. We sweat profusely and evaporative cooling take place to bring body temperature down. In winter, due to low temperature, outside our body temperature falls below 37 degrees Celsius, we start shiver to generate heat to rise the body temperature. So this is how we are interacting with our surrounding environment. Next, the levels of biological organization. This biological organization are also called as ecological hierarchy. The basic unit of ecological hierarchy is organism. We already discussed regarding the organism. Next is population. Population is nothing but a group of individuals living in well-defined geographical area, share or compete for similar resources and are potentially interbred. The population is a group of individuals living in well-defined geographical area, share or compete for similar resources to maintain or compete for similar resources and potentially interbred. So this is what we call it as population. For example, human population in 2020. Next is community. Community is nothing but interacting group of various species in common location. Interacting group of various species in common location is called as a community. For example, we can take food chain. Here the different community, a different group of organism, they are interacting, or a different group of various species are interacting among themselves for the sake of food. That we call it as a food chain. For example, grass is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper eaten by frog, frog is eaten by snake, snake is eaten by eagle. So this is what the example for community. Then ecosystem. Ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of biosphere. It can also be defined as a interaction between abiotic and biotic components with respect to energy flow in trophic levels. That is what we call it as ecosystem. Then biome. Biome is a large naturally occurring community of flora and fauna occupying the major habitat. Biome is nothing but a large naturally occurring community of flora and fauna occupying the major habitat. That we call it as a biome. Next is biosphere. Bio means living, sphere means planet Earth. Biosphere is nothing but a zone of life on Earth is called as an biosphere. A single organism together, a group of same individuals together, there is a formation of population. A group of different individuals together, formation of community. These community together, there is a formation of ecosystem. Ecosystems together, there is a formation of biome. Biome together, there is a formation of biosphere. This is what regarding the biological organization or ecological hierarchy. Next is father of Indian ecology is Ramdev Mishra. Ramdev Mishra, he laid the foundation for understanding of tropical communities, the succession, environmental response of a plant, populations, productivity, nutrient cycling in tropical and grassland ecosystem. He established teaching and research in ecology at the Department of Botany of the Banaras Hindu University. He has conducted these all experiments in the Banaras Hindu University, and he's a professor of botany. Next, we move on to the another topic, that is organisms and its environment. Rotation of Earth around the Sun and its tilt axis causes annual variation in intensity and duration of the temperature, resulting distinct season. So the rotation of Earth around the Sun and its tilt axis causes annual variation in intensity and duration of temperature. So when the low temperature exists in our environment, then we call it as a winter season. When a high temperature exists in our environment, we call it as a summer season. So intensity and duration of temperature resulting distinct season in our environment condition. This variation along with the annual variation in precipitation, rain and snow forms the major biomes. So this variation along with the annual variation, the formation of the major biomes is going to be taken place, such as desert, rainforest, tundra. So entire year only rain is there in that particular area, then it is considered as a rainforest because it is having more productivity as well as it is having the highest number of species diversity also. So the rainforest, in this area the continued rain will be there, and the desert, the average rainfall will be there, and tundra, there will be the snowfall in that particular region, and desert is also contain high temperature. So this is how there is a formation of different biomes based on the annual variation in precipitation, rain and snow forms the major biomes. Next is tundra, a vast treeless Arctic region of Europe, Asia, North America, in which subsoil is permanently frozen. Why the tundra is not containing trees? Because the low temperature is not favorable for the growth of trees in that area. So that vast treeless Arctic region of Europe, Asia, and North America, in which subsoil is permanently frozen. There is no trees in that particular. Major biomes in India are tropical rainforest. The rainfall in tropical rainforest is 200 to 450 centimeter. Temperature is 23 to 27 degrees Celsius, and it will we observe here high level of biodiversity. Why it is having high level of biodiversity? The water is essential criteria for to carry out the process of photosynthesis. When photosynthesis carry out, it will increases the biomass and it will increases the productivity in that particular region. When productivity will increases, then the herbivores, they will eat the plants, and this herbivores eaten by another organism. Like that, the healthiest food chain will develop in that particular region. So that when the every organism has an innate potential to increase in number when the sources are available sufficiently. That we the location Andaman and Nicobar Island and Western Ghats, etc. The deciduous forest, the rainfall 100 to 250 centimeter, temperature hot during summer, cold during winter, and it is also called broadleaf forest. The location Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, etc. Desert, the rainfall 25 centimeter, temperature high, location Rajasthan, northwest India and partly Punjab. And here the plants are characterized by succulent condition. They are also called as drought resistant. And here they will develop a fleshy organ for storage of water and mucilage. Fleshy organ for storage of water and mucilage. This modification we call it as a phylloclades. Photosynthetic and green stem is going to be formed. Like this, in this region, to compensate the scarcity of water, the plants adapted to succulent condition. And also in desert place, animals are also showing adaptation. For example, kangaroo rat meet their water requirement from oxidation of fat. They excrete very concentrated urine to conserve the water. Like this, animals and plants are adapted to desert condition. Next, we move on to sea coast. The rainfall 100 to 107 centimeter. The temperature is moderate. Mangroves vegetation is observed in this region. Mangroves vegetation means it will the plants will develop negatively geotrophic roots because of increased salinity in that particular region. And we also called that roots as a breathing root, and they will form the pores on the surface of that root. That pores we call it as a nematophores. And this is how due to the increase in salinity, the adaptation modification will observed in that region. And the location, the Gokarna, Goa and Mangalore, etc. Next, regional and local variation within a biome leads to the formation of wide variety of habitat. We'll see aquatic habitat, we'll see the terrestrial habitat. If the water is available in that particular area or particular ecosystem, there is a formation of the aquatic habitat. When there is no availability of the water in that certain region, or some hydrophytes which can grow in the water, they will grow in aquatic habitat. The some plants which are adapted themselves to terrestrial habitat, they will grow in the terrestrial habitat condition. Like this, the regional and local variation within the biome leads to the formation of wide variety of habitat depending upon the condition. Whether there is availability of water is more, means it will form the aquatic habitat. When there is no water, only the land is there, then it is called as an terrestrial habitat. Life also exists in extreme and harsh habitat such as rain-soaked meghalaya forest, high mountain tops, boiling thermal spring, stinging compost pit. Our intestine is a unique habitat for hundreds of microbes. Yes, the life is also exist in extreme and harsh habitat such as rain-soaked meghalaya forest, high mountain top, boiling thermal springs. So for example, archaebacteria will observe that it is living in a boiling thermal spring and stinging compost pits, and some they are living in a stinging compost, some organism they are living in a stinging compost pit, and our intestine is a unique habitat for hundreds of microbes. One more example, many fishes in Arctic water can survive at below 0 degrees Celsius temperature by producing special type of antifreezer in their body. So like this, many organisms, they are adjusted and adapted to their existing environment condition. This is how the organism and its environment interact with each other. Next, key elements for the variation in different habitats are temperature, water, light and the soil. So these all key elements which will brings the variation in different habitats. So the next is a biotic component include pathogen. Pathogen means disease causing organism, parasite which is mainly depend on the host, predator it is depend on a prey, competitor it is also depend on other species or the other different species or same group of species. So like this, the competition will occurs in the competitors also. Interspecific competition and intraspecific competition will observe. This is also one of the interaction between the organism and its environment. Next we move on to organism through natural selection. Organism through natural selection, adaptation and it optimize its survival and reproduction in its habitat. What is a natural selection? Darwin's theory explained about the natural selection, the process whereby organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and reproduce more offspring. For example, giraffe is attempting to get leaves on tall trees had to adapt by elongation of their necks. As they passed on their acquired character of elongation neck to succeeding generation. So new species originated by the adaptation. This theory was given by Darwin. The process whereby the organism better adapted to their environment tend to survive and reproduce more offspring. Then what is an adaptation? Adaptation is any attribute of the organism, morphological, physiological and behavioral. For example, we'll take the plant sunken stomata to adjust the sunken stomata is there. It is comes under a physiological adaptation. Morphological means thorns on the surface of the plant, and the behavioral means a desert lizard. When the temperature rises, it will hide hide itself in the burrows. When temperature decreases, and it will bask in the sunlight. Like that, there is a many adaptation will observed in this area. So in this area, morphology, physiological and behavioral, that enables the organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat. This is how the adaptation and natural selection is helping to optimize its survival and reproduction in its habitat. And this adaptation have evolved over a long evolutionary time and are genetically fixed in the upcoming organism or upcoming generation of that species. Next, the organism interact with this component constantly. So the organism showing interaction with this component constantly. There is a mutual interaction between abiotic and biotic component. This is what regarding the ecology. That is, there is a branch of biology that deals with the study of interaction between living organisms and its environment.